Hello, this is our this is our first podcast. Okay, this is off to a bad start. This podcast is called Can You Not, which is a brand new podcast in which we are going to take 10 minutes to discuss the topics of each of our choosing. There are three of us in the room. My name is Joe. I do videos on my YouTube channel called Pogie Joe, which is P-O-G-I-E Joe. And then I also make movie things. And Amber, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Amber. I'm an electrical engineering major. I'm a sophomore this year. I do theater. I hang out. Jesse.
Hello, my name's Jesse. I am an integrated marketing communications major, junior at John Carroll.
AKA Jesse Paradise.
Yes, I'm a rapper, low-key, do that just for fun. I am totally interested in race politics and hip-hop culture.
Yeah, so essentially all three of us have a topic today. Like I mentioned, we're going to take 10 minutes to discuss.
And we haven't talked about the topic yet.
Yeah, none of us know what the other person is brought. Well, I know Jesse's, but only because he let slip to me. But
Well, it's also because I played every 5 minutes just to fucking kill Joe.
But we'll get to that. In fact, Jesse, do you want to start out with your topic first?
Yes, I would love to. So as of recent...
Oh wait, we got to start the timer. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And
Yes.
Start.
Okay, so as of recent, there has been a phenom in the hip-hop game. He went viral within the past 5 days. He is a white rapper from Hamilton, Ohio.
Near Cincinnati.
Near Cincinnati. It's like the Lorraine of Cincinnati. It gets worse, Amber.
We're all from the Cleveland area, so that's
Yes.
kind of our frame of reference is Northern Ohio.
Exactly. So, like, he raps in a style that was made popular by Chicago gangster rappers. And the song is called Drill Time. It references him grabbing 30s, 48s, AKs, robbing people.
He also happens to be an 18-year-old,
18-year-old. Yes, he's
scrawny.
Like a white kid. And he has gotten 5 million views in 5 days.
Is it just him rapping about guns?
Oh, just about guns
Pretty
and
much. Girls, all the
drugs.
In one song, or is this like a bunch of songs?
It's in one song. He has 2 songs on the internet, and he's already blown up. And his name is Slim Jesus.
Is Rush Limbaugh on it?
Like his name is Slim Jesus. He kind of looks like an albino raccoon. And his dance moves remind me of like Geppetto.
I also like the fact that I don't know if he has the ability to convey emotion.
The thing that everyone is having a problem with is he blowing up for the fact of the polarity of his color of his skin? Is that what makes him very big and popular?
You mean that because he's white, like
Because he's
other
white
white
and
people are super into it?
Exactly. And is he taking away from the craft, or is the craft really a parody from the start? Is gangster music really actually comedy? Do we all actually view it as comedy, black, white, Latin, Asian, and indigenous people? Like,
Oh, so you mean like people take this, like, whatever race or whatever that the rapper is, it's just immediately whatever they're saying is like a parody of themselves, matter what their skin color is, you mean?
yeah. And so, like, the question I have to present is basically, is it really that big of a deal that he's blown up because he's white? Or is it a big of a deal... Is it a big of a deal, period? I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I feel like that this kind of reminds me of the way people are upset that Miley Cyrus is wearing dreads. Okay, all the other crap that she did aside, because none of the stuff she said was okay, but people are like upset that she wore dreads, and I feel like it almost comes back to the idea of like where the line is between appropriating something and using it, or in the case of dreads, like doing it because you like it, or like you like rap music so you're rapping about what you like, or you like dreads so you're wearing them not necessarily because you're trying to appropriate something, but because you just think they're cute. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a...
Well, the thing is, like, there's not like a specific thing. You know, everyone's just kind of going by their own personal guidelines. So what Miley Cyrus thinks is not appropriating. She's obviously taken it too far in several cases, but she doesn't even... I don't know if she even realizes it, which is kind of I don't know if that's reflective of society as a whole or just her as a single
Wait,
person.
do you mean she doesn't realize that dreads could be considered appropriating, or do you mean she doesn't realize that what she's saying is stupid?
Just any of the stuff, you know, anything that has to do with, like, obviously Miley Cyrus isn't one to draw the line very easily when it comes to pretty much anything. I don't know if Slim Jesus is blowing up because exactly.
His name is Slim Jesus. Do you want to see a photo of him?
Yeah.
Because you will die. Like
Yeah,
you will die.
Well, I guess what I'm interested is, like, I understand what you're saying, but I think that there's a difference. Like, the stuff that she says is not okay, but I don't think that her wearing dreads is a problem, because I don't think that taking a fashion thing is necessarily appropriation.
I will just kindly interject.
Yeah.
First of all, it's braids. It's braids.
Oh, she was wearing braids?
She was wearing braids.
Why is everybody calling them dreads?
Because white people don't know the difference.
I'm really upset now.
It's okay. It's fair.
I know the difference.
I know you know the difference, but so they're braids and they're hair extensions in a sense. Like they're not real.
Mm-hmm.
To me, has anyone seen the movie? Has Chris Tucker? Was it in The Fifth Element where he just dressed in the weirdest outfits possible?
Oh, yeah.
And he has a hair that was like that and stuff like
Yeah.
that. To me, Miley Cyrus kind of looked like that. Like space age waitress meets Molly at Coachella.
I think the reason he blew up, though, I think it's just the novelty of it.
Is it the novelty?
I think at least part of it's the novelty.
Does it sound any good? Like, if you take it out of context, does it sound bad or is it okay?
So if anyone's
casual
familiar with like drill hip hop, it's got a similar rhyme scheme per each song that everyone does, and they have almost a similar vocabulary they use. To me, it's made to play, but not to really listen to the lyrics. So, is what he's saying good? I don't know.
But I mean, like, but if you were just like, if that song were to come onto the radio while you're
Oh no, absolutely
No,
not.
because
It's the
it's
video.
about the delivery of
It's
it.
it's totally the video.
The video sells
But
it.
how many songs is it that the video sells it, or a Vine clip sells the song?
Yeah, I mean, that's totally up my alley when you see, like, how much video has to play in the success of music now.
Oh, totally.
And that's why you see Billboard jumping on and saying, okay, yeah, I guess we'll count YouTube views. They had to get to that point
I mean,
because...
that's how Macklemore got his number one, right?
Yeah,
That was primarily how he got his number one.
Right. Or even look at, like, ones that have kind of crossed over from being kind of an internet thing, like Gangnam Style, which ended up getting a lot of radio play because it was exploded and became the most viewed YouTube video of all time.
Amber, don't you like that song?
Oh no.
What are your feelings?
Can you do
on
the dance, Amber?
No, shut up. I just don't like it. It's annoying. That's all.
That's it?
That's it.
That's it, literally?
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Oh, man. So let me show you a photo of him, because I don't know if you're ready for this. Cause
Can you explain what he looks like to the listeners?
Okay, so this is what Slim Jesus looks like. Slim Jesus looks like
You just can't get over
your all-American white kid. I mean, blonde hair, blue-eyed, skinny, like $160, probably like 5'10",
but with a hoodie.
but with a gray hoodie and a very long neck.
Ooh.
And he has a monotone voice.
I feel like I'm related to that guy. Like, he looks like my cousin.
Well, it makes sense. He's from what city, Ohio? Like
Lorraine.
Lorraine.
The Southern Ohio equivalent.
South Lorraine.
South Lorraine, Solo.
Oh my god.
I guess only time will tell with Slim Jesus.
Yeah.
Right?
Because are his other future things going to be novelty things? Or are they actually going to start taking them seriously?
And will he
Is
actually...
he actually going to start taking himself seriously and start actually trying to write stuff?
Oh, I think he does take himself seriously.
Oh,
I think
no,
I think that's why it works on that level. It's like...
I'll have to watch that. I'm really curious.
Oh,
now.
it's very interesting. And I guess...
And if people want to look it up, what's the name of the song?
It's called... Okay, so the artist, once again, is Slim Jesus. and the song is called Drill Time, DRILL space TIME. And we will just caution that there is 16 to 18-year-olds dancing with guns in it. So this is not for your...
He insists at the beginning that they're props.
He insists that they're props.
They're probably not
A
props.
couple of them have red beams on it, so I don't think they're props. But yeah, so this is not a family safe music video, and it's not safe for work. So basically, I guess the question is, will he ever get pop success? I don't think so.
Probably not. He'll
probably
probably
not.
fade out like all the rest of the internet stuff does.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Okay. Time's up. Perfect.
Are we doing 10 minutes a person?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I was.
Do you want to go next or should I?
I don't care. I can go next.
Okay. You're on the clock.
Okay, so I realized that there is a secular student association at Cleveland State, and like that's a thing that interests me. So I went to the first meeting, and what it mostly was is there weren't a lot of people who showed up. I think there maybe were like 5 or 6 or 7 of us, and it was just kind of a discussion. So somebody decided on a topic and brought it in. I don't really even remember what the beginning topic was. Oh, it was atheists as a minority in the United States, and that was like the topic. And like the guy had like things to say to like spur the conversations and stuff. But a thing that I thought was really interesting was that everybody was talking about like, oh well, I think there are like 7% atheists in the United States, and people estimate that there's closer to 14% because people don't report or they don't identify correctly or just various things. And apparently like 14% as a population amount is like the point where it kind of just starts to like shoot upwards in terms of the amount of people who identify as an atheist or agnostic, which they were using interchangeably during this conversation, which is wrong, but that's a different conversation. But something that I thought was interesting was everybody was talking about like how much better things would be when more people were atheists, and like what do you think will happen when more people are atheists, like, and the whole conversation was about how these people wanted more people to be atheists. And I thought that was really bizarre because the problem that most non-religious people have with religion is that the religion pushes themselves on people.
Right.
And they seem, the conversations we were having, there's one person in particular who is like saying stuff like, I feel better than everybody else. He literally said, I feel better than everybody else because I know I'm right. And it's like, I don't know, I just think it's bizarre that the thing that you're trying to get away from, and especially the reasons that you might be trying to get away from it, like that then you turn around, like after you say, okay, I'm an atheist, I realize this, and then you turn around and say, now everybody else needs to be an atheist. Like now this is right, now this is the default. And I just thought that was interesting.
I think part of that, I think it's kind of fueled even like, especially with the stereotype online of like the angry like atheist who like sits in his parents' basement and wears the fedora. You know, it's like that whole, the stereotype of that sort of like creating that superiority. Like I said, I think society kind of feeds into that image, and a lot of people grasp onto it, you know?
But it's weird because it was a room full of people who identified as either atheist or agnostic, who were, and only one of them was doing the like nose in the air, I'm better than everybody else thing. Everybody else seemed really uncomfortable with that. But it was just, I brought up like, I don't think it should be that everybody should become one thing. I think it's a matter of understanding, and just because you have a better understanding of people, like the people around you, doesn't mean that you gravitate towards being an atheist. And just because you become intelligent, like, or not become intelligent, but as an intelligent person, as you learn more, that doesn't mean you're going to become less of a believer. Like, I have at least 2 very good friends who are incredibly religious, and they're both incredibly intelligent people. Like, I don't think that the default for intelligence is atheism, and I thought that was really strange.
There's Christian, and you know, of all different kinds of religions. There's religious doctors, there's religious scientists, there's religious philosophers. You know,
and the same is true for atheists. Like,
and there's dumb atheists, and there's, you know,
and vice versa for both.
Yeah.
I'm totally against a homogenous society to begin with. I have a problem with anyone partaking in identity suppression or religious oppression in any sense, whether it be atheist to Christian or Islam to Christianity or whatever the case may be. What I don't understand is being an atheist in America, it is a minority.
Well, I think they're just talking about
no, but that's what I'm saying. Like, number-wise, it's a minority, and you're not gonna win arguments or get your point across by having your scope be, I want this, and I'm gonna get it now, or they're not up to my level in any sense, in any sense of existence.
Yeah, because people can sniff out if you're acting inferior or acting like they're inferior to you. Like, that's not a convincing tactic like to say like, you are just so wrong, you're so blind, you know, like that doesn't,
it doesn't work.
That doesn't convince anybody
this guy
of anything
who is
on
like,
either side,
who thought he was better than everybody else. It came up like, well, what do you do when people say bless you to you? And like, I say thank you. Like, and this guy was like, I tell them no need. I tell them it's a waste. I'm like, that's
ridiculous.
Do you like when you swear, do you like take out all the religious swearing too? Because that's like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the other thing too that I think is related to this is like, the idea that seemed to be persisting at this meeting was that more atheism would mean less extremism and less hatred. And with 9/11 that just came around, all those pictures that came up that say imagine no religion, and they had the Twin Towers standing.
Right.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
That's an awful stretch. I mean, I see religiosity and racism almost in the same kind of realm in a sense. For instance, in my existence, in my life, in my everyday life, like in the field I work in retail and going through my daily shifts and going through what I have to go through, and every white man call me bud or boy or whatever like that. I know it's because of society, and I know it's not a deeply embedded belief that they hold. So I do say thank you, like how people say bless you afterwards. Maybe it doesn't agree with your identity or your existence or your beliefs, but it's almost like you're not helping yourself by picking these fights. There's a time to pick fights, but those fights shouldn't be fights. They should actually be conversations that should be had by both sides.
Especially not when one side is trying to be polite to you.
Oh, clearly.
Oh, yeah, that's the worst.
That's the worst part about it, too.
Yeah.
It's totally the worst part about it.
I feel like there's this misconception in a lot of people that, like, getting rid of a certain thing will get rid of, like, all the bad people. And it's like, just because even if there were, like, to become fewer religious people, that doesn't necessarily mean that there will be fewer bad people. Like, I mean, I'd like to think I'm a good person, but there are a lot of good people, and being atheist doesn't make me a good person.
And they need to realize the same thing from their side. Like a truly devout religious person needs to understand that, if the whole world was their faith, same thing. Like, the world wouldn't.
It would be exactly the same thing, right? The Christians would feel, or the religious people would feel what the atheists are feeling now.
Right.
Like, there would be this constant imbalance in this fight.
I have a question. Do you guys know, just in the Twin Towers thing, 'cause that's in my head, do you guys know if in Japan, when they had the kamikaze pilots, was there a religion thing going on there, or was that just intense nationalism?
It was intense nationalism from my understanding.
Right, so it's like, I feel like taking the Twin Towers and saying imagine no religion, you know what I mean?
There's
that doesn't stop. There's still going to be other motivators.
But that also is super Islamophobic too.
Yeah, that
too. Undertone, I'm sorry.
But no, I think we pretty much summarized it. How much more time do we have on this topic? Oh, 33 seconds. Yeah.
Do you have any plugs?
Any plugs? I don't know. It really annoys me on both sides. Of the theism spectrum, like either atheism or theism or agnostic or gnostic. When people think that doing it a certain way will make it right, will make everybody better again. You know what I'm saying? And that's not. People, they're always going to be bad people. They're always going to be good people, and they're always going to have their own motivators for being that. And like things like religion or nationalism or whatever kind of are just like something for them to plug into to express that.
Yeah. Although, Amber, I do know of a potential candidate who wants to make America great again.
Can we have a 2-minute conversation about the election, please? Like the GOP race, please.
This will be like a week or two from now. So by the time they hear this, it'll be funny, though. Crazy stuff still.
It's still funny, though. So, like, here's my thing. I am obsessed with Donald Trump. I am obsessed. That's why he's doing so well. Because to me, he looks like bad man drag.
Yeah. It's true.
So, computers have come an insanely long way, from obviously the very first one that filled up an entire room and could do simple math calculations,
Using, like, push cards.
Yes.
Like punch cards. Yeah.
And it's to a point where, people understand now, I think, that computers are taking over a lot of facets of daily life, such as like transportation, or when it comes to like a lot of things anything related to math and science. Computers, understood and are trusted in a lot of those things. However, you start to see computers dabbling in art. And you see this with projects like Google Deep Dream. You see this with computers who make music. And I'm wondering, now obviously we look at this stuff now and we laugh at it. It's like, this stuff is so simple. You know, we listen to a song that a computer created or a painting that a computer created and we're like, this is so silly. And like, but do you ever think, given maybe hundreds of years, maybe thousands of years, who knows how long, do you think it could ever get to a point where a computer could create art as emotional and convincing as an actual human?
Like, recording music, there's a whole difference between analog and not analog. And a lot of artists are going back to analog, which is like the physical means and a really warmer sound to music. And it's proving that as perfect as these records are on Top 40 or your independent scene, they're not the same as analog, being recorded analog. I think we can use technology to a point to perfect our crafts, but I don't think a computer using 98 Microsoft Paint can bring some emotion in me and say, wow, this is just totes amazing, or I would like to buy this. So no, I don't think so. There's no possible way.
What do you think, Amber?
I guess my question for you is like, Google Deep Dream makes things that we consider artistic, but what it's doing, I guess you could say it's creating art, but it's not creating art in the sense that like an artist who sits down to paint on a canvas does. You know, what it does is it runs it through the computer that operates the way that they think that the brain operates when it's dreaming in recognition of images. So you feed it an image, and it like goes through and recognizes things and tries to I don't know. I am not very computer tech savvy, but it doesn't create in the same sense that a person who sits down to draw or paint or anything creates. So like what my I guess response is like what you consider art. Like a computer, you can tell it like, here are the sounds we find most appealing, here are the chords that we like to listen to, here are the progressions that go together, now create something, and it'll like do whatever it does and like math or logic its way through it and spit something out that can be aesthetic to us. But I don't know if it's necessarily creating art in the sense that, I don't know, I feel that the phrase creating art means. So I'm sure that a computer...
Maybe manufacture.
Maybe. But I'm sure that a computer I think Deep Dream is really, really cool. So I think a computer can totally create something that can elicit a response or elicit emotion, but I don't know that the computer, and I don't believe that, at least at this point, the computer has any emotion to put into it. It's not necessarily doing what it's told, especially not in the context of Deep Dream, but it is kind of, it's spitting something out, but I don't know that it knows aesthetic. You know what I mean? I don't know that it knows beauty.
Well, I'm kind of two minds of this. So on one hand, like, what is the human brain really? When you get down to it, it's just a bunch of things that I think, given enough time, thousands of years, I think would be plenty enough time to decently represent a human brain and how it works, you know? And so I'm thinking, I think it can reach the point where it would be indiscernible at the very least, from a purely aesthetic, you know, whether it be...
You don't think the computer would surpass it? And I don't think it's going to take thousands of years.
I think it would take hundreds.
I don't even think it would take hundreds.
Maybe I think it could take decades.
Yeah, I don't think it's that far away.
I would think that's possible. But here's the thing.
I want a hoverboard.
The thing that holds me back a little bit is that so much of what art is, depending on, no matter what the medium, is tied to this notion of the creator. You know, we don't just buy into a song, not always because of how it sounds, but because we hear about the artist and we see interviews with the artist, and we associate it with this person and we wonder what they were thinking of, you know, and like evaluating what they could mean. I don't know, maybe over time we would kind of grow neutral to that, and like maybe we wouldn't care if that connection was there, or a good enough people would not care, like the mainstream, you know, appeal would not care.
So it'd be almost like unnecessary to have a human wielding whatever this medium would be.
Yeah, or having some kind of personality behind this,
Okay.
you know, like having a
makes
fake
sense.
personality behind this piece of art, you know, like, oh, the computer who created this, his name is Digigo, and he
Digital monsters.
and he's a really cool guy who likes to. He's a real cool computer, and you should think he's really cool too.
We're using
You know, like,
male neutral pronouns.
Why am I picturing?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But I'm saying,
It
like,
doesn't
Why
bother
am I
me.
picturing a gateway from 2000 with goggles on it? Why?
I think what I was almost gonna say is I'd almost be more interested, like, cause that's a philosophical. Yeah, that's a philosophical approach that you're taking to it. And I was thinking, like, well, what about, like, we have these computers that can now mass produce art. I'd be more worried about artists not, but we already have that. You know,
Yeah.
Walmart will
It's in the
sell you a
beginning
print
stages, is what I'm
for
saying. You know,
$10.
or even if you look at someone like Andy Warhol, who's not everyone's cup of tea, but essentially a lot of people love Andy Warhol's his work, and essentially a lot of the stuff that he did was he would say how he wanted it and had it commissioned, but they still find value in that.
Or
So
like the Banksy documentary where he's paying people to sit in the warehouse and make his stuff.
It's just fantastic.
Yeah.
So like it begs the question, like, at what point is there even a creator behind arts sometimes anyway?
And I also think it begs the question, like, even if computers can make art, like, maybe that would have some kind of impact. But as far as art goes, like, if you take what I was saying and consider, like, the emotion, like, an artist sitting down to paint something, like, what about the prints that we already sell at Walmart? Like, what about all this stuff that's already happening?
That's true.
It's almost
I mean,
like it's
hang it on our
already
wall.
incredibly computerized. Like, I'm sure somebody
Right.
painted that picture of a flower that you bought at Walmart for $5, but to what extent do you consider
And
that
you don't
art?
give that person a name or anything.
Yeah,
you don't
but to what
connect it
extent
to
is that art, though?
That's a fair
You know what
point.
I mean?
Awkward silence.
Jesse looked like he was
You know,
gonna say
Jesse looked
something.
like he was gonna say something.
I had something loaded and I'm like, man, I'm not with it. Gosh, you know, I think the thing that we have to look at is if this is going to be the future and we don't need a human wielding or creating this art, does it mean that we can't relate to each other? Does it mean we don't need each other to be
That's a good
inspired?
point.
Do we need human existence to inspire each other? Do
Right.
we
If a
feel any
computer
emotions?
if a computer can overwhelmingly inspire us, even better, maybe to our needs. Because what if a computer can like scan our minds and sit and make the perfect artwork that it knows that we want, and like
Scan your brain.
yeah,
That's what you're gonna
that's-
say.
Not like he's gonna Xerox a couple copies of my brain and send me some faxes of it, you know. But I'm saying like. If it could do that, you're right though. That's kind of interesting. Would we be more closed-minded to other human like creations?
I don't know. That statement reminded me of how everybody thought that the end of human socialization was when the newspaper printed out. You know.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure.
But computers are writing news articles now too. Like
I mean,
a crap load of them. Like in terms of like sports articles, especially, almost all of them are written by
sports are dumb.
computers.
Anyway, I think it's kind of cool. Like, it's scary to a point, but I mean, it's kind of cool because even though, like, we have Google Dream that's like spitting out this stuff, and it's like, oh no, it's the beginning of computers. Do you want me to stop?
I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can basically summarize. It could be good, could be bad. It's probably both, just like anything. People always have these doomsday prophecies for every single thing, and it's usually a mix of good and bad, just like every single thing that came
It's
before.
growing up with the
So,
technology.
Yeah,
Watching it move.
and we can't be afraid to grow up with technology because guess what? It's gonna keep on happening. There's always gonna be new technology.
So it's gonna be
replace the old
3-year-olds with smartphones.
So you're telling me I have to get rid of my AOL email address?
one. Yeah,
Jesse,
I won't
do
judge
you?
you, Jesse.
So hipster.
What?
So retro.
Is it like Jesse 99?
Jesse Beyblade Master 44 at AOL.com.
No.
My experience with dial-up with America Online, is one of the richest experiences I've ever had in life. I got whooped so much because I was on the internet and my mom could not make long-distance phone calls.
I hear you.
Let me tell you, the sounds from the dial-up.
That was definitely part of it. Because
Okay,
I had
Stitch.
dial-up until 2009. I had it for a long time. I think well,
I
maybe,
didn't know you were Amish.
yeah, recently converted Amish. There we go. Might have been 08. It was definitely around that time. It was a long time before we had the slowest high-speed internet possible.
I guess we're gonna cut this whole segment out.
Okay. So like for the end, maybe we should each like summarize our
Okay.
thing in like a short
Yeah.
sentence.
What have we learned today,
Jesse?
Jesse?
Slim Jesus is white. And also that most likely his success is due to the point of what he's saying and not his actual appearance.
I don't think atheism would have fixed 9/11.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I'm gonna say that
Jesse's losing it.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say.
I think technology's gonna happen anyway. We're gonna have computer-made movies. We're gonna have computer-made music.
Don't cry, Joe.
We're gonna have computer-made tears.
Oh my god! This was fun, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna try to make this a weekly thing. So, yeah, we'll see you next week.
This is Jesse.
I'm Amber.
I'm Joe. Hey.
And can you please not?
Can you please?
Can you please not?
That pizza was good though.
That
That
pizza's
pizza.
dope.
Viewers, I mourn the fact that you will never be able to have that pizza. It was pretty amazing.
It was pretty amazing. We ate it all, so.
It was
That's true.
delicious.
Anyhow.
Okay.